Good evening and welcome to Discovering. School's out for summer, but that doesn't mean the teaching or learning has to end. Rick Faust spends his summers training waterfowl retrievers and hunters using real-world hunt simulations.
If we could just teach people, here's what you can do if you want this, they can do it 15 minutes a day. So that's what I want to encourage.
And a quick visit to a rock shop. So sit back and relax. It's Monday night and it's time for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
Okay, my name is Rick Faust. I own Chesapeake, Sauerkraut Chesapeakes. I've owned them for 30 years, and I've hunted with them, waterfowl hunt, woodcock and grouse, and kind of primarily woodcock and grouse because there's more of them around, but I love all the hunting. So this is Timber. She looks pretty relaxed. She's 2. I got her out of Montana from some really good lines and genetics. Absolutely in love with her, loves to train, really has been phenomenal for me and probably the best dog I've ever owned in 30 years. And with my friend Gabe and his chocolate lab and one of my students, Brendan, we're gonna simulate a waterfowl hunting scenario, goose hunting. We have a bunch of launchers that are gonna go off, and it's working with the dogs and certain skill levels of honoring. So when you shoot, the dogs don't take off. That's a safety issue because somebody might shoot your dog, or 2 dogs take off at the same time and shred the goose, which I've seen, or they get in fights and then you don't have good friendships after that. Doing some blind retrieves, which would be when you shoot a bird and the dog doesn't see it, and then you have to do hand signals. So it's the shooters working together, the dogs working together, so you have a good, safe, really awesome hunt. Good dogs, yeah. Yeah, here, good. So set up, you can see kind of behind, we have goose decoys out. Then we have launchers that are gonna launch dummies. They're not gonna be geese out of there. Then over here we have Brendan in the middle. It's one of my students. He's gonna shoot just to add more confusion to the scenario, because dogs are gonna get confused if you just train by yourself. You're not going to get this when you hunt. And then Gabe will be on the other side, so we don't have too much dog competition. I'll be on the right-hand side, and we have blanks. We don't have live rounds. We're going to practice gun safety, and we're going to pretend that we shot all the birds. So we're just on that one. We're just working on honoring, being respectful. So now Timber's gonna get the retrieve. Timber. She was looking for more birds. Here. Okay, so now we're gonna shoot off 2, and then we're gonna we'll go goose first, and then we'll send Timber, hopefully, to get the second bird without destruction, which we practiced this last week. So we feel pretty good that we can do that in a real hunt, but we'll see how that goes. Oh. Another one. Timber. Okay, so you can see right there, she's going on the other one, which is fine. I just use hand signals, a whistle will come in, boom, no problem, no yelling. Good relationship with the dog. Oh. He got interested in dogs a few years ago, called me, and I had been training by myself quite a bit. And I go down into Wisconsin and train, and a lot of them, they're into hunt tests. Well, I want more hunting scenarios, so then he and I went, what do we have to do to have good waterfowl hunting dogs where we can hunt together? And so we just started kind of developing this thing, you know, nothing too long. Like a hunt test, you might have a 150-yard retrieve and whatever, but if you're hunting, that's not typical. You know, it's the short stuff.
Here. Goose, here. Come on, buddy.
Well, that's okay. Oof. Man, is he a speed racer. Okay, so diversion is, this is, you know, safety, gun safety, but we shot birds here. They're getting the retrieves, and as they're coming back, you know, one gets shot because maybe over here the bird flew in, and you drop that. Now they're coming back with a bird or a bumper. You don't want them to drop the bumper or the bird. You want them to come back and then pick that one up clean. Now that's awesome. He did a heck of a job on that. See, I don't mind it when they start coming like that, because that shows that they know where that thing is. I mean, that was really that's a good pickup.
Yep.
Okay, see, when they look back, I'd rather that. Here, you got another bird. Another bird. Sit. Good girl. Hey, hey. Oh. Timber. Yeah.
Rick's goal is to get more people excited about hunting with dogs and giving them the knowledge and tools to be successful.
This is just more for fun and getting more people involved with having dogs, primarily hunting dogs, primarily retrievers, but any kind of hunting dog is great because you're out in the woods and you're away from phones, so it's more promoting that than my business. Now, I've got that one, there's another one out there, dead bird. Okay, I'm running right past his nose. Dead bird, good, back. God, Zach. Leave it, back. Get to that crest of the hill. Good. Over. Oh, she got a snoot of it, that scent. There is one sitting out there, we'll have to remember it.
Yeah.
Good, 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 good. Oh, you're staying away from your buddy. Good, hey. We made progress on that. Here.
And you don't need all the gear that Rick has.
Because I'm passionate and I have all these launchers I picked up for 30 years. So like I'm way over the top about this, but you can teach a dog with a lot less time than what I've done or money, because people are going to see the launchers and go, oh, I don't have that kind of money. But you could have some bumpers and throw bumpers and go out and shoot some rounds off, and you can do some things by yourself to have a pretty darn good hunting dog in regards to waterfowl hunting. Timber.
We went from training on land to training on water.
We're just gonna do like a duck hunt, how a duck hunt would go. Gabe and I aren't gonna shoot. We'll have one shooter, and we're just gonna do some of the same things we did on land. We'll be doing water blind retrieves, which are the same on land, but to me, I think they're a lot harder. When it hits, sometimes they're in bushes. You don't always see the splash. Now here today, we're gonna make it pretty evident with white bumpers and that. And they might cheat from land into water and run all the way around and try to get the bird that way, but generally speaking, they'll miss where the mark is, so you want them to go through the water to get it instead of like running all the way around here to pick up a bird. So it's a matter of disciplining them and watch your hand signals, and we're wearing green, or so they don't always see your hands moving. Usually I wear white in training, so that way because I'm training, I want them to understand what this means. But other than that, same kind of scenario, but just in the water. So I'd like to see Goose go on this one now. Let's see. I've got those canvas bumpers flying there, and I do not want him running on land because there's holes.
Yep. Goose!
Good shot, Brendan.
Thank you.
You're a dead eye.
Good boy, here, here. I heard it click. Yeah. Good boy, here. Timber, timber.
Got that one in the tree. Nice shot there, killer.
Thank you.
That one, that can be a hard one there. Let her dig around in there, and that's realistic.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Rick is passionate about retrievers and teaching. In the summers, he teaches dogs and hunters. The rest of the year, he teaches history, health, and social studies.
So I've taught at North Dickinson for 32 years, and I've had a lot of very blessed relationships with students. So Gabe's one of them, obviously now Brendan. And so it's I've learned how to train dogs through teaching, and I've also learned how to teach kids through working with dogs. So it's kind of worked well together because there's some of the same concepts. Obviously humans are a lot smarter and things like that, but the same concepts.
Goose! Back!
I'm Gabe Johnson. I've been training here with Rick Faust with Sauerkraut Chassis for a couple of years now. Rick was actually my middle school teacher. So when I got a dog, I decided to get in touch with him and see if he could help me out with training. So we try to get together once a week and do some hunting scenario situations. We don't necessarily do the hunt test thing, but we try to just make our retrievers as efficient as possible when we are waterfowl hunting.
So what all have you learned from Rick here?
Basically starting with the basics. It's kind of a thing, if you want a well-trained dog, you can pretty much do it within, I'd say 15 minutes a day, and just start building off of small basic things, whether it's just retrieving, long lining just to get them to come back to you, sitting. It all leads into more advanced, I guess, training for the dogs, just being steady and but he knows a lot of the drills. He's done it for a long time, and he knows where the dogs are gonna, almost make a mistake and how to correct them with very minimal, I guess, guidance. I guess he always kind of told me it's like teaching a 2-year-old, so you got to make it known to them. This here is Goose. He's 2.5 years old. He's looking for birds right now, but he's been doing good. This year we haven't really got in the full swing of training yet, so this is one of the first times, but he's doing well.
Once again, just trying to get people involved in the dog sports. And then in regards to like training, people could get a hold of me and I could help them start them off in the right direction. There's books to read. YouTube has tons of videos. And I'm just trying to get a collective of people that have retrievers, starting to get some phone numbers from people to where we could help each other out.
The UP is a rockhound's paradise, and no one knows that better than Dave Stimmick. A visit to his Nature's Way woodworking and gift shop in Alberta on Highway 41 south of Lance is always worth the stop.
The UP, especially from here north, is a geological paradise, going up into the Keweenaw. The history, the mining, the volcanic stuff that went on, everything. It's just crazy. And the glaciers coming through, what it did, the float copper. Everybody's out picking agates all the time. Agates are nice. They're really nice. I love them. But I've been kind of zeroing in on these guys, these Keweenaw agates, which are different. It's a whole different breed. But some of the agates that you find in the basalt, the agate that is right in the bedrock. Most people are out along the shoreline, but these babies are in the bedrock. That's unique stuff. And look at the agate and how beautiful that is. Just in the basalt. Where else do you go and find stuff like this other than a Keweenaw? Looks like a chunk of rock. And there's an agate like that inside of it. That's why it's so addicting. Agate is a volcanic bubble. When the volcanoes are going up and then it filled in slowly over time with different minerals and elements and that. That's why you get all that banding in the agates. And but the Keweenaw ones, it's just a color. They're so different. And a problem with that, with a lot of them, they're fractured a lot because of it was so hot. And a lot of them that cooled quickly, they'd fracture. But then they'd fill in like a lot of the cracks would fill in over time and heal. They're called healed fractures.
When it comes to rocks and minerals in the UP, copper is king.
My wife's from White Pine, so we got a small collection. I got a whole bunch of White Pine stuff in a case back there, but different artifacts from the White Pine mine. But the history and the fire brick up here from the smelters, the old smelters back in the day, it was so hot, so intense for so long that the copper penetrated the walls. The walls were 1 foot thick of brick like you would have in your wood stove. And over time, the copper penetrated and filled the walls with copper, ate away at the mortar and replaced it with copper. That's insane. In the old days when the Hubble smelter, what I'm told, anyway, I'm no expert on this, but that when it went down and they were starting to dismantle the buildings, they got to the firebox itself, they couldn't even budge it because it was all copper. So they drilled holes in the wall and blasted it to pieces. Oh, if you could see that. Can you get the lines in there? Yeah. Of the wall? This is a part of the wall of the Hubble smelter. Then there's the float copper, the glacial deposits. Everybody likes float copper. Glaciers came through and then just ripped everything up, and a lot of it wore it smooth and just deposited it everywhere. That's why you'll see people out with their metal detectors. They're out looking for the float copper. It's probably the most desirable, I would think. Nice little piece of float copper, polish up, beautiful, but it's like pure copper. There isn't many places in the world where they find copper like this, that pure. Epidote in copper. Isn't it different? A little piece of copper like this. Look at the quartz crystal, right? Suspended in the middle of the copper. How does that even happen, I believe this came out of the Caledonia mine or the Adventure mine up in Ogden County. But you can see the different colors of epidote, and there's basalt and different stuff, but then there's copper here. So they'd have to crush that up. But there's a lot less copper content in it than like the CNH. But whole different makeup of the host rock that the copper was in. Every mine had different types of copper and different host rock that was in it. It's beautiful stuff. It really, now you can see why we're addicted to rocks. This is insane. More of a specimen, definitely. You'd ruin this by trying to get the copper out. The only place in the world you find this stuff. Mohawkite, it is a combination, now, copper, arsenic, and nickel. Well, here, let me read to you. This says, Mohawkite occurs in Mohawk, Amique area of Keweenaw County, Michigan. Mohawkite is mainly copper, arsenic compound. It also contains cobalt, silver, nickel, and iron. Mohawkite is rare. This is the only locality in the world where it can be found. But the high grade is this stuff. It looks like little flowers in there, or snowflakes, with the quartz in it. And this is what the jewelry is made out of, this stuff. Really high-grade Mohawkite. And there's not much of this left either. It's pretty much gone. It's unique stuff.
That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.